Line's good.
Never on!
Whoa.
Hard! Hardly.
Come on, Rent.
Line's good.
Got real close.
The hair high, right?
Try and hit 2/3.
Have they saved it for her? Yes, they have.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to Game of Stones. My name is Scott Graham here, flying solo tonight with Sean off in New York. From what I see on social media, Sean may have gone to see the musical Six tonight, which is in previews on Broadway. It's about the 6 wives of Henry VIII, King of England. So a pretty interesting story, actually. I'm intrigued to hear about it. But for now, we're going to talk about some of the curling we saw today. We'll start with the most recent game, the 1-2. I honestly don't have that much to say. I was not watching this one live. I just checked out it on the recording here. Pretty open game, first part of the game. Not a lot to talk about there. Carrie Anderson finally cracks a 2 in 6. In the 7th, we saw a couple of shots coming a bit deep, forcing Jennifer Jones to 1, and then in the 8th end, she jammed a couple. I think she tried 3 times to make a double, and jammed it every time. Wasn't able to get the second stone out of the ring. So just sort of the wrong side of the inch there for Double J, and Caitlin Laws on those 3 shots. Set it up nice. Gave Manitoba a deuce. It wasn't an easy deuce. Some good sweeping to get it past the high guard, but puts them in a good spot. They're able to force Jones in the 9th. Again, some pretty nice shot making there from Carrie Anderson, and are able to close her out with. I was maybe a little surprised they didn't play the draw, but as Cheryl and Russ mentioned, at least playing the hit and roll, you're not going to lose the game that way. So, she made it. So who's to second guess? So that's Carrie Anderson, Team Manitoba will get the bye through to the final. Jennifer Jones and Team Wildcard head to the semifinal against our friend Rachel Homan. So the game today against Northern Ontario, I took notes. I felt very proud of myself. I'm taking notes here and all that. I said last night, I said to Sean, I'm going to take Homan because they're the team that converts with the hammer the most. And to be honest, after 6 ends, I was thinking, oh boy, did I make a giant mistake. The Homan gets forced in the 2nd. Again in the 3rd, Kendra Lilly's playing some super tight, shooting it through the hole. Emma Miskey follows. The force is on. Then Krista McCarville was just a bit heavy with her in-turn draw. Gave Homan the chance, and then Krista's able to tap for 1. Gets a steal in the 4th end. A really, really nice draw by Krista McCarville on her last setup. Rachel went for the run back, just missed it, and was down 2-1. They're forced there again in 5. And then in the 6th end, Northern Ontario manages to generate their big deuce. I said I wrote big deuce on my sheet of paper here. So big deuce for them there. Then the 7th end was, I think, the turning point where Ontario started to really take hold of the game. We had a couple of heavy draws, one by Kendra Lilly, one by Krista McCarville. They were just a bit outside of the path where everybody else had been playing, and those going just a little bit deep opened the door for Rachel to get her deuce there, which she was able to do. And first deuce of the game for Team Ontario, who had been converting at 63% throughout the tournament. gets their deuce there, and you feel like, okay, it's a tie game. I would give the advantage to Rachel Homan, even though Northern Ontario and Krista McCarville get 2 hammers to 1 coming home, right? So they're playing the 8th end, and my notes just say good force. A really good force of Team McCarville there. Homan made some good shots to eliminate the yellow rocks of Northern Ontario and basically set it up so that the only choice she had was to play one shot for one. Did it. And then the 9th end is where things get pretty crazy. So many center guards set up. Kendra Lilly is playing a come around and comes up light on hers. Emma Miskew is able to play some kind of like weird. I called it around the horn. She sort of came off 2 yellows and back up in behind. There was a bit of a Christmas tree at the top of the house, and so she was able to make a weird little double, roll up and back. Really great shot, really great. Able to sit 3 after that, as there was 2 Ontario stones near the top of the 8-foot. Krista comes in, throws a beauty where she hits one of these rocks that's up in front, chips it off another, and it spins towards the 4-foot. And with that, she's sitting shot rock. It was great. I wrote down here, we had a Russ double gear effect call. So for all of you followers who were playing the Russ Howard drinking game, the double gear effect, I don't know how many drinks that is, but it's definitely 1 or 2. And Krista tries to play like a little chip shot on hers as well. She's just a little bit heavy, sticks out a bit too far. Rachel comes in, she plays another little sort of back house tap to set the stones up for her, so that no matter what Krista does on her last, she's got a good sort of a good setup where she'll have a shot either way. She'll have like either a run back on the in-turn side or on something on the out-turn side. Krista's, as I mentioned, was like just a bit heavy. Like instead of being, back 4, it was maybe back 8-foot weight. Like it was not a big difference in weight, but that little bit of difference gave Rachel Homan a shot. It's like a slash double. So a raise double / raise double. And sure enough, she makes it. It was there for 4. She made it for 3 based on the way the rocks hit each other. But a big 3 right there, big 3. Now they're up 2 going into 10. And you just know how great Rachel Homan's team is. They're not gonna allow anything more than a deuce for sure. I think there was maybe a shot there at one point in the end, but at the end of the game, Homan made a beauty roll on a hit that left Krista nothing but a double run back, raise double, which she was unable to convert on. That's fine. It's one of the hardest shots that you'll ever have to play. So no shame in not being able to make it. Tough ending to this Bonspiel for the Northern Ontario team. They have finished now 4th, I think 3 years in a row, and in 2016 finished 2nd. So they're knocking on the door. And this brought up a question on Twitter from a few people about, what do you think that team would be like if they played on tour full time? And I got to be honest, they would be insanely good. I think what they benefit from now is that they ramp their season up to the Scotties, because that's what they're playing for. And if they played every week on the tour like some of these other teams, maybe they wouldn't be able to peak as much at the same time. So that's something for them to discuss. And, the last 2 years with Ashley having a baby and Sarah Potts having twins recently, they haven't had their full team together. Jen Gates, don't get me wrong, great player, a great teammate for everyone. But we'll see what happens with, that this is year 2 of the quadrennial. Maybe next year with the Scotties being in Thunder Bay and, year 2 of the quadrennial year 3 rather, trying to get some more points in preparation for that road to the Roar. Because I don't think they'll have enough points to get straight into the Roar of the Rings. Maybe we see them play a bit more next year. Maybe we see them go out on the road for a couple more weeks in the fall Bonspiel season. I'd be all for it. I haven't made any secret of it. It's one of my favorite teams out there, and I'd really like to see them able to do more on tour. And the thing is, though, when they come to these events, they're hanging with everybody. So it would be nice to see them get back next year and make a big push when the event is in Thunder Bay in Krista McCarville's hometown. So with all that, we sets up our semifinal game tomorrow afternoon, Team Wildcard at Ontario. This is a matchup of the first draw from Pool B in the event. It was last Saturday night, so a week ago now. We saw Rachel Homan handle Jennifer Jones pretty easily. Not unexpected. I expect the same thing. The difference is Wildcard will have the hammer and the choice of stones. On the website right now, it says that Wildcard is playing red. We'll see if that holds. I would imagine it would. Team Homan had choice of rocks today and picked red. So, it would make sense for Wildcard to choose the red stones. They also chose the red stones tonight against Manitoba. I got to go with Rachel Homan again, staying consistent. I picked her to win the whole thing. The conversion percentage, it wasn't as much on display today as throughout the week, but when it counted, she got 2, forced, got 3, and then stole 2. So they know how to score multiples when they need to. I think they're straight up better than the Jones team. Very hit and miss. I said last night that it was, how goes Jennifer Jones goes Team Wildcard. And tonight, pretty good game, 81%. But it was the misses when, the timing of the misses. And it was also Carrie Anderson shooting 94%. She was just great. Super on fire tonight. So, Rachel Homan also played a great game this afternoon. If we see that kind of Rachel Homan and that whole team, then I expect them to win. I'm looking at the percentages, 76% for Homan, but she had some really, really, really difficult shots, especially in the beginning of the game, and was, a little bit the other side of the inch, but I really expect them to come out firing. I know there's a bit of a rivalry with Rachel Homan and Jennifer Jones. No love lost, we'll say, between those two teams. So everyone will leave it out on the ice tomorrow, and I expect Rachel Homan to win. And should Rachel Homan win, play Manitoba in the final, I think they have a better chance to beat Manitoba than does Team Wildcard. We saw Wildcard and Jen Jones beat Anderson in the championship pool. I call it a bit of a fluke. I mean, you're not going to get 4, give 2, get 4 again, in a national final. I mean, if they met up again and they did that, I'd be like, great, we can record our podcast now because the game's over. But I definitely don't expect that to happen. So Rachel Homan making it into the final, I think she can play at least as well as Carrie Anderson. That last game that they played in the championship round, Team Homan played great, and Anderson played just a little bit better. Was able to get three in the first and in the third. Another thing I don't expect to see in a final. So we'll see what happens. Everyone knows what I'm rooting for. I think an Ontario-Manitoba final will be a better game. And since I just want to see good curling, that's what I'm rooting for. So let us all know who you're rooting for in that game. I wanted to give a bit of a shout out to, we've sort of neglected the World Junior Curling Championships this week while the Scotties has been on, and understandably we've been focused on that. It's in our time zone and everything, but I wanted to shout out the men's and women's teams from Canada, Jacques Gauthier and Mackenzie Zacharias. They have both had great weeks. Zacharias winning the gold medal last night against Minji Kim, who's a team we know. Excuse me. Minji Kim didn't have a great game against Team Canada, but a really great job by Canada to be able to come back. They got down 3-1 pretty early, 4-1, and were able to claw back with a deuce and a steal. Were able to steal 2 in the ninth. Minji Kim had a draw, went deep, and Canada was able to steal 2. Pretty important because they won by 2 points. So it ran them out of stones in the 10th end. Great work there. And Jacques Gauthier beat Team Switzerland, who upset Team Scotland in the semifinal. So maybe a bit of an easier matchup for Canada in that one. But, it's not easy to win anytime. But to win a gold medal game at a World Juniors, definitely not easy. So congratulations to both of those squads. And I hope you get back from Russia in one piece. Krasnoyarsk, Russia. Look it up. It's way out there. So good job by both of those teams. Again, getting you set for Sunday. You know where I'm rooting for going in. Let me know on Twitter who you're rooting for and why. And we will be back with you tomorrow night. Sean is scheduled to fly back, and we are going to get together and talk about the final and the semifinal as well. We'll be on, likely in time for those of you on the West Coast who want to listen before you go to bed. At least I hope we'll be on that early. So like I say, get in touch with us on Twitter. I'm on there as at Scott Lakes TV, also on Instagram. Hit me up there. Sean is Dr. Shawnee Fever. It's a WKRP in Cincinnati reference for those of you that don't know. And a Game of Stones podcast at gmail.com. Honestly, those emails go to Sean, so don't email us because I won't get it. So we'll be back with you then to discuss the final. Congratulations to Team Homan and Team Anderson for winning today. And like I say, we'll talk to you tomorrow. But until then, keep your broom on the ice and don't dump that intern.
Make the final.